Begin transmission. Hello, everybody. It is Chris, aka Staraptor, back at it again for Outer Rim transmission. This is episode number 212. Yeah, we're repping the 212th of Obi-Wan Kenobi tonight, everybody. I'm joined, as always, by Milton and by Ben. November 2nd already. Time is flying by, but it's a good week because we have new Star Wars to break down. In fact, both today, next episode, and the episode after that, we're going to be spending most of that time talking about Star Wars Visions Volume 3. We have 9 shorts, so over the next 3 weeks, we'll break into 3 episode discussions, starting with our 3 for this week, which are, we have the Duel, Payback, we have Song of Four Winds, and the Ninth Jedi, Child of Hope to talk about tonight. But we just had a pretty fun holiday in the States we like to call Halloween. So did you guys have any Star Wars sightings, anything like that with Halloween at all? I'll throw it over to Ben first on this one.
I guess if catching a Star Wars plague bug that makes you sick for 3 days counts, that's probably what I dealt with. But I mean, the week before that, when I wasn't sick, at least, because for our local area around here, I don't know, for some reason, trick or treat is always the week before Halloween. I don't know why. It's always been like that in this area. But last weekend, I did see a Darth Vader costume when my nieces were out trick or treating. When we were all out together, there was like a kid in a little Vader costume, and then my nieces knew who that was just because like they've seen my Vader Black Series figure I have and stuff, so. They were excited seeing that. But yeah, that was kind of my only like little Star Wars Halloween experience, just seeing a little Vader costume out there.
Yeah, speaking of Vader, my sister and her family, they went as Star Wars characters. So my brother-in-law was Han Solo, my niece was Leia, and my nephew was Luke, and then my sister was actually Darth Vader. She had made her own costume, which was really cool. She didn't have the helmet, but she made like her own life support chest piece out of foil and whatnot. And I was like, wow, you're legit cosplaying now. You're making your own creations. This is crazy. So just shout out to them. I was like, all right, we got that going on. But yeah.
Hey, that's awesome. It's always good to see you're rubbing off on them with your cosplaying and stuff, Chris.
There you go. I'll talk more about this in a moment, but I want to throw it to Milton. How's it going? I know you were away for a few days.
Yeah, I've been good, man. My wife and I, we just recently traveled out to Minnesota for the last 4 days to visit my brother and his wife. And so we were out there from Thursday to Sunday Sunday morning, got back this afternoon. So just settling in, didn't really see anything Star Wars related out there, but I will say I did see something Star Wars related on Instagram over the weekend while I was visiting my brother, and it happens to be you, Chris, where I saw your workout video.
Oh, here we go.
Squatting with the, I think, Mandalorian helmet.
Yep.
It was a Jin Darin. So I thought it was cool. And honestly, like, no lie, like I showed my wife the video of you deadlifting with the Daredevil outfit. And I said to her, do you know who that is? She's like, no. And I'm like, that's Chris from the podcast. She's like, really? I'm like, yeah. And here's the thing. Here's my takeaway from that. From a guy who likes to work out, and Ben, you probably see this all the time when you watch other people work out. Your form on your deadlift was beautiful. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh my God, he has really good form on deadlifting. I was like, very impressed. So that was my takeaway, besides you wearing the Daredevil outfit. So good job. You know what you're doing. You got great form with deadlifting, shoulders up, chest up, chest out, back. It was beautiful. So yeah.
I appreciate that. As somebody that's doing this for a living, I would really hope that that looks pretty decent.
Right? Yeah, it was like, mwah.
Well, here's the thing. I know, Ben, you wanted to say something real quick?
No, go ahead.
Okay, so here's the thing. Then the Mandalorian video, I did about like maybe 5 to 6 takes on that stupid video because I was going for way heavier at first. Like, I'm Mandalorian, I'm lifting heavy. Here we go. And The problem was that I was trying to do a squat with the helmet, so I do not have the vision to be able to see my quads. And my buddy is like, just feel it, man, just feel it. I'm like, I'm trying, but I also can't really breathe that well in this thing either. So a couple malfunctions, and I was squatting the opposite end of the rack, I know, but I'm like, look, you could see me better if I'm not going against the rack, so screw it. I know somebody was saying something in comments. I'm like, I know I was doing it the wrong way, but I was doing it purposely. So I was just like, screw it. My friend was like, dude, I gotta go. I was like, just take the weight off. We're just doing a ton of reps here. That's the thought process, because believe me, I would not want to post something where I hit the side of the rack because I can't see, or the leg starts shifting one way because I also can't see, and I'm just like, this looks terrible. Let's just try low weight and get into it, because I can't have people on the internet calling me out on my crap. So there you go.
Yeah. Hey, that's a good creative idea. Good stuff for Halloween like that. I mean, I didn't even think of doing anything like that. So that's a cool idea when I seen you post that.
Yeah, it's like, that's the first fitness video I ever posted, and it's me and freaking cosplay on both of them. So what does that tell you?
Hey, maybe next year me or Milton will have to figure out a costume for a Halloween workout.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah, we'll have to figure it out.
Yeah, so that was actually basically my week in Star Wars. I was gonna say the same thing. I posted a short of it on YouTube. So right now, if you guys are watching on the YouTube channel, after this video, you can go ahead and watch me squat as Mandalorian and just do a bunch of crazy stuff as Daredevil. So there you go. There's a plug for myself, actually. But getting into the rest of the show tonight. I mean, the one thing I will say is kids were coming to the door last 2 nights ago, Halloween, record on a Sunday, and I would just put on the Mandalorian helmet right before I opened up the door every time. So that was fun. I didn't see any Star Wars characters coming to the door, so that was a bit of a disappointment, but there was a kid in a Scream mask, and I'm like, is Scream even relevant anymore? Like, why is this kid wearing a Scream mask? And I realized, oh, they rebooted that series not too long ago. So
yeah, they rebooted it, and they poked fun at the sequel era, actually, in that movie.
Oh,
they did. They poked fun at like the whole bringing back nostalgic characters thing of like Han, Luke, and Leia, and they poked at like, the fans who complained about The Last Jedi and stuff. Like, they poked at some of like us who are kind of like critical of those movies. I thought it was clever what they did in that movie. I really did. But the funny part about it is, one of the main people in that movie, she literally was like, literally says the word, like, like she talks in that movie like how nostalgia is like a good thing or whatever. So yeah, they actually kind of tied into Star Wars with their reboot.
Wow. I'm gonna have to check it out. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check it out for sure. But Milton, what's our update with the Jedi series? I know the last time we talked, it was pretty cool because you were telling us you just beat the game. So do you plan on jumping into Survivor in the next couple weeks, couple months?
Yeah, I think probably in the next 2 weekends, maybe next weekend. Actually, maybe this weekend, because I know my wife might be going out of town to visit her family, so I might get away and maybe start playing the second one on Friday or Saturday. And that it is literally, I thought about it the other day, because literally on the plane coming home, I have a little like, not a Game Boy, but it's kind of like a little Game Boy that has like 18,000 games on it. I was playing Super Star Wars and Super Empire.
What?
On the plane
That's
there
awesome.
and back. So then I thought about, I'm like, man, I really have to get back into playing, the Jedi games, just because I need to finish that series. So I'm looking forward to sitting down and taking the time to get back into it. But yeah, that's my plan thus far.
Oh yeah, so we'll get the updates, guys. We'll get the updates. But getting into what came out this week, let's jump on in. We had Boba Fett, Black, White, and Red, issue number 2. We had Dr. Aphra, Chaos Agent number 5 of 5. So that series is now done. Dr. Aphra is running around in the galaxy in between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens and maybe we'll get more stories about her. But for now, this story has concluded. So you can hear about me and what Matthew Neugebauer says over on the Tractor Beam on the Star Wars Underworld. We go live every Wednesday, so join us over there if you want some in-depth commentary beyond what I usually post for my reviews on this channel. But we're here to talk about Star Wars Visions. We have nothing else going on, and Ben, to my knowledge, there's not much happening with the Star Wars news world anyway, right?
Not the only interesting thing is Rosario posted something the other day and then deleted it. She posted a thing and was like, can't wait for you guys to see this. It's just, I can't think of exactly how she worded it, but you could either take her wording as, I can't wait for you guys to see this season, but you could have also taken her wording as a potential, she's going to be involved in either the next film or a third season of Ahsoka or something. Like, the wording on her post was super weird, the way she ended it, because it was like, I don't know, it was just the way she posted it. And then, like, with a few hours later, she deleted it. So it was just kind of odd. So that was kind of like the only interesting bit of Star Wars news that, ironically, it came from one of the best leakers, and they work for Star Wars, which is Rosario. So, yeah, she had an interesting Instagram post and took it down. But other than that and those implications, like, there really hasn't been much news for the most part, just because it's just like, we're kind of in that period where it's like a lot of rumors. I know there's supposed rumors out there about like Star Wars re-releases and things. We'll see if that ends up being true or not. And there's like all kinds of different things out there from unconfirmed places. But yeah, the only thing like officially really from anybody affiliated is, Ahsoka herself.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, it's that series by now. Hopefully we would have seen it a year from now, right? Like, this thing has been done shooting. It takes a whole year at least for Star Wars to get their effects done and all that. It's a lot of time when you say that. It's like, it takes them like 6 months maybe to shoot something. It takes twice as long just to put the special effects in. It's crazy. But that's how it works. But yeah, we're gonna hopefully have seen the show by this time next year. That's gonna be so exciting.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think to me, I mean, I know we're all three excited for Maul next year and the Mando movie because it's a Star Wars movie coming out. But I feel like I'm not sure about Milton's opinion, but I feel like for at least you and me, Chris, I think and a lot of most hardcore Star Wars fans, I think our most anticipated project coming up for next year is the Ahsoka show, just because it's like, so inside base. It's so like inside baseball. Like, what are your kind of thoughts on that, Milton?
Just what on the Ahsoka show coming out? My thoughts
do you,
on it.
Do you think for like the hardcore fans that's the most anticipated show, or do you think it's more Maul, or do you think it's the Mando movie, or?
Honestly, I think it's Maul, just because we've heard the rumblings about what Mando should have been for the fourth season, how there was a mandate, I guess, to do it into a movie. So I think fans are like, listen, we liked our old version of Mando, but if you're gonna make it into a movie, we're already preparing for it not to be as rich and as I guess aggressive, or just like, I don't know, as epic as the show has been thus far. I think Maul is that character that we love from the prequels. We loved how George and Filoni expanded upon that character in the Clone Wars, and we all love Sam Witwer. He's been a great advocate and champion of that character and of Star Wars. So I think that personally, I am more interested in seeing the Maul show, even though we know what it's going to look like during that era of Star Wars. It's still something that's very telling. It's fresh. That character has, you ever heard you heard the phrase? There's a lot of meat on the bone.
Oh yeah,
I feel like there's still a lot of meat on the bone when it comes to Maul.
Well,
as for the movies themselves, I mean, I think right now Star Wars is in a very delicate, still weird place when it comes to the product and movies. And we've heard, I know we've all talked about it and heard. I know we haven't talked about it yet among ourselves, but about the whole news that Adam Driver.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, the huge news. Yes, we even get to talk about it.
Right.
We haven't gone over that.
So what my point is that we get movies like that or news told to us, and it's like
Yep.
that's what we wanted, or
Yep.
that's how you drive the community to say, "Oh my God, I want to come back and check this out." I feel
Yep.
like Star Wars has not given us that property yet, where we're like, it's appointment television. I think Ben, you might have spoken on that before. It's like
It's an
Star Wars has
event.
not become appointment television anymore.
Yep.
It's in some ways it's become
Yeah.
watered down, or it's
It's
become,
McDonald's.
yeah, like everyone has access to it. It's easy to access, and it's not exclusive anymore. It's not that what's the term I want to use? Like that precious thing
Yep.
that everyone gravitates to. Is not really that
Yeah.
that attraction. You talk about it in professional wrestling. Vince McMahon was great at this. Like his big stars, like Roman Reigns or whatever, they were an attraction. Andre the Giant, you
Yep.
didn't see him wrestle every day. You saw him wrestle once a month, once every other month, because he's an attraction. I want my kids and my parents to come out and see that guy in droves, and he built that up. Star Wars don't have a build up anymore
Yep.
when it comes to those type of movies and shows. It's like, okay, here's one this week, here's one next week, here's one in 6 months, here's one in 3 months. It's like, that's where we're
Yeah.
at. So to go back to your original question, I look forward to Maul. I feel like that's now starting to get ramped up a little bit, but
Yep.
Star Wars is still in a weird place where it's not attraction, television.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say I feel like I feel like the whole Adam Driver thing, I think that could be an entire podcast,
It
guys.
could.
Like for
Yeah.
us
I
to
don't even
talk
know if we
about.
should even talk about it. Honestly, we're gonna go for 3 hours if we get into
I
that.
mean, yeah, I
That could
think
be
we should.
another
I think we should
podcast
save
itself.
that topic. Maybe that
I'm fine
topic
with
should be
it.
saved after Visions, when we finish that up in a few weeks or something. But I was gonna
I'm cool
say,
with it.
Yeah.
yeah, I was gonna say, so we can pin that. But I was gonna say on the mall topic. So I do have an interesting little connective point to yours, Milton.
Hmm.
So while I was laying here sick for multiple days, I seen an Instagram pop up talking about like Maul. It was showing Maul from the episode, where they go to the planet and Rebels with Maul and Ahsoka and
Malachor.
Kanan, Malachor. When they go to Malachor, I saw an Instagram pop up about that of how he's so like spooky when Vader comes and like freaks out and
Yeah.
leaves.
Yeah.
And I was laying around. I was like,
Yep.
God, I'm so sick. I might as well just rewatch those. So I laid around, laying there on the couch, rewatching that. And like, the thing is, it is interesting because he's so flipped out in that whole sequence. Um, him and Vader have to fight in
They
this
have to.
in the Maul show. Like, because why would someone like Darth Maul, of his status and confidence, all of a sudden he just hears the whisper? It's like saying Voldemort or something. He hears Vader and he's out of here. So it's like, I think that's where we're headed, Milton, is like maybe Maul is gonna fight Vader, and maybe
Yeah.
maybe the reason Maul gets so spooked is like Vader takes out that apprentice of his.
Oh.
That's what I'll throw out there. Maybe that.
That sounds interesting. I mean, yeah, I always thought that there was a chance that Maul fought him because of that reaction. Why are you scared? Exactly like you said.
Yep.
But I think we're gonna get the trailer hopefully for you guys that haven't seen it yet. And I hope when they put out trailers, new footage for people that did see it at Celebration to give us something cool to talk about. But it's like they already have a figure that was promoted at MCM. I'm not really sure what that stands for. It's a convention in England. They have
Oh,
a official vintage mall figure with like the new mall logo packaging. So it's like, okay, the marketing is starting to get out there. I say give Visions like a few days, and I think maybe this upcoming week, if I were to place a bet, this coming week would be like, will we get our first trailer and like the first little snippet of like the release date for this show? Because I've always kept track of like as soon as Lucasfilm releases something, or it's even Disney too, because as soon as like they put out like the Star Wars thing, the next day they start showing trailers for the thing that comes after Star Wars, which is like a new Marvel show. Like they never waste time trying to get people to like, ooh, I got to keep my subscription. Oh, there's this new Star
yep.
Wars thing coming out again. It's like I got to keep this now. So I think that
I
we're gonna start seeing that promotion now really ramp in. But I'm excited because I like that trailer that I've seen twice.
Well, I was about to say,
I
so do we know? Do we have an idea of when the mall show's coming out? Like,
Nope.
was it discussed at Celebration?
They just said 2026, but we're all saying they have a big gap between January and The Mandalorian in May. So we're hoping like, oh, they'll do like The Bad Batch. Remember that premiered in like January. So that's why we're all kind of just saying that, but like we don't even know it. Time frame. It's 2026.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was going to get a guess of when they're going to release that trailer, because I was just looking it up. I know the Super Bowl is in what, February or whatever, and I thought I thought ABC was doing the broadcast. I'd have been like, oh, that'd have been the perfect time to release the trailer. But it's actually NBC that's doing Super Bowl 60. So I'm thinking, oh man, that'd have been a beautiful way to do a trailer. Like they used to do like the original or the sequel trilogy with the Monday Night Football games or whatever, which they could still do that. I can see them doing that during the playoffs with one of the games. Hey, we got this show coming out, blah, blah. Potentially throwing it in there. But because everyone watches sports and football during the playoff season. So that'd be interesting to do it that way.
Yeah.
Because usually like the AFC Championship games usually on ABC every year. So like I could see that. I could see it maybe dropping there like middle of January or so, end of January. Maybe that potential time frame. But I think it's got to be coming here soon. Between that, and then I was gonna say, guys, just to get in there, real quick on one other little tiny Star Wars-ish news. So there was like a Disney event I was reading about that happened a week or two ago. It was like, I don't know, it had to do with like stockholders or it was like an upfront event, like showing up future projects to like people. And now this is the caveat. All the posters for all the movies and things were fan art. So keep that in mind. But the interesting thing is the fan art they chose for the Starfighter movie was it said Starfighter across the thing. And then apparently it had the foreground was the Falcon flying and then a group of X-Wings behind it following it. So that was the fan art they chose to use for Starfighter. And I was like, what in the world? So I just, I don't know. It was such an odd selection. Like, I'm sure there's a lot of other fan arts they could have chose, but it was just interesting. Like, the images aren't out there of what it looks like, so it may have just been like a beautiful portrait or something, and they decided to use it.
If you had the name Falcon, that means Rey would be in there, wouldn't it? Because she has the Falcon after
Chewie, maybe.
The Rise of Skywalker. I mean, yeah, Chewie and her could be like in there, and she could be a huge part of the whole freaking movie for all we know.
That's why it's like odd because I'm sure there were some fan arts of like just X-Wings generally flying or something,
Yeah.
But really. I don't know. It's take that for what it is because it's just from like a Disney like a upfront event or whatever apparently. But it's just like I don't know. It's just odd to say the least. But yeah, that is a little just whatever. Take it for what it is. Type of Star Wars news.
Yeah, interesting stuff there. By the way, Ben, you asked Milton what he was most looking forward to this year with Star Wars. You didn't ask me because you assumed that it was.
Well, yeah, I guess I assumed you wanted Ahsoka just because of like, all the lore and yada 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 and whatever. Yeah,
and
but
I would say that I could also choose a different thing than both of you, and that is Ghost Company, the video game.
Dang! I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking forward to a new Star Wars experience where you're controlling like characters in a different way, where it's like squads, and I'm guessing it's single people, but they're in like a little squad, and it's like XCOM or like any of these other tactical games that I love to play, or even like the miniature game I play. So for me, I'm like, okay, and it's set during the Clone Wars, and you're an entire mercenary band of characters, and you can even create your own character. Like that's everything I want in a Star Wars video game right now. So for me, I'd definitely say that, and that's just hilarious because you're just assuming that we're like, oh, we're all going to say Ahsoka. It's like he says something, I say something different. It's like Star Wars fans are all over the place this year, apparently, which is a good thing. There's a lot of variety.
Yeah, I mean, I could have assumed. Well, honestly, if I'd remembered that game was coming out, I would have probably not assumed that about you, to be honest. But I didn't even think of that game, so I was like, Chris probably. I assume he's probably more excited for Ahsoka. And like I asked Milton because I just feel like I felt like Milton would have been leaning toward Maul just because we all know each other so well.
Yeah.
Yep.
There you go. Well, we got a new Star Wars show to start talking about, actually, that came out over the week. Like I said off the top, we're going to break down these episode by episode. So we're going to break it up into 3 parts over the next couple weeks here. But so we're going to start off with the Duel Payback. Now, this one is coming to us from. I have the. Oh, I do not have the studio. Darn it. I'm looking at the wrong notes here, everybody. But we're going to get
I
into
got
it.
you. It's right here.
Oh, you got it?
It's by Studio Kamikaze. Was it Duga and Anime?
Yes. That's
Yes.
that's the one. That's the one.
Probably
And
jacked it up, but yeah.
yeah, Kamikaze Duga, but plus anima. Um, we're gonna go over. I'm looking at StarWars.com here. We're gonna go over the description, and then we're gonna just throw it to each other. What do we think about this? So, quote: "With the help of some unexpected allies, Ronan faces off against his greatest foe, a twisted Jedi known as the Grand Master, who is bent on revenge." I'll throw it over to you, Milton. I know you're a huge fan of Star Wars Visions in general, and especially of the Duel. So, what's your quick takes on this one?
Yeah, so I just want to preface, I did not get it. I watched all of these in the last 3 days, but I didn't get to watch them on the big screen. So I think I want to go back and rewatch all of these on the big screen. I was watching them on my plane trips the past couple days. So the Duel Part 2 or the Payback, I love that. It First of all, I felt back at home with this character, and I'll keep telling myself, man, we get a show of this guy like
Yeah,
completely. Because I did not expect to see what we saw. The way he was vulnerable, but still a badass. You clearly see he was on a mission. Like he's been doing this for a while since we first met him 3-4 years ago. After that first fight, where like he kept to his promise, he's going to be wiping out all these people, and it just felt very familiar. I thought the animation was gorgeous. The action was amazing. It was surprising. I didn't think he was going to survive, honestly.
mm.
And because the what do they call the oh my goodness, what do those people call that? The guy with the face, he took it off. He's a Crusaders.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
He was so like, I've never seen that in Star Wars, how the way he moved and how he was like glitchy like that.
I
Kind of reminded me of
know.
it reminded me of Ghost from the Ant-Man movie.
Oh
Like that
yeah,
character.
Yep.
And I was just like, whoa, like he's quick. He's got that speed about him. The way he fought was
yeah.
gorgeous. I just thought the evolution of the character of the Ronin was expanded. I feel like I want to see more of this version of Star Wars. Like they really created like a Ronin culture of Star Wars. Yes, we know it's the opposite of what like George took a lot of creative liberties from the Ronin culture and that type of thing in the Star Wars, but it's like, can we get a full world of this now? I'm curious to see what led the Ronin to this path because I was like, whoa, loved it. It was a 10 out of 10 if I had to rate it. Great. I can't say nothing negative about it. I hope we get a part three, because this character I think is now part of Star Wars officially.
Yep.
They actually, Milton, they have 2 comic books from Marvel
Right.
drawn
Okay.
by
Oh
the
yeah, I remember they
same
did the
guy
book and they did the
and the
novel and they
book.
did the comics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's actually a lot of good stuff about the character that we can already experience even off the screens. But yeah, man, I gotta agree with you on that. I think this is just absolutely beautiful. Looking at it, I did end up going back and watching it in Japanese and hearing the amazing Japanese voice cast with subtitles, and I was like, whoa, like you gotta watch it that way too, dude, because it actually got me to think a little differently when I'm listening to them like that. And just like the attention to detail and like, oh my goodness, like how this studio manages to capture like the feel of the Samurai Edo period with Star Wars and just the amazing animation, like the whole idea of the themes of Attack of the Clones and Return of the
Yeah.
Jedi getting melded into one. And they're like some of my favorite Star Wars movies. So we're dealing with Ewoks doing ambushes on these troopers that are supposed to be clone troopers that have the Republic gunships flying down into the sky. I'm like, this is beautiful. Like, this is so good.
Yeah. It was cool to see how they did how they turned out those walkers into like a bar, like a
Yeah.
drink haven or something. Like that
Oh
was
my
pretty dope.
gosh.
I was like, man. And then whenever they were fighting on the wheels, I was like, or on the legs, I was like, holy shit. I'm like, I want to see
I,
this in real life.
dude, and then I got vibes of Revenge of the Sith, Anakin versus Obi-Wan,
Yes.
because they're
Yep.
sliding down on this mountain, and you see them fighting on the walkers, and it's the most creative thing I've seen in Star Wars in a long ass time. If I'm being honest, I
Yeah.
gotta.
It was worth it. Like it was again, like that animation studio knows that character really well. I feel like this character needs to be canonized. I'm not even joking. Like
Yeah.
I don't know if they want to. Again, with Star Wars, what's really canon at this point half the time, but like
Yeah.
this character needs to be like a part of our world when it comes to Star Wars. I love him. I need to see more of him. Like it's really it captivated me watching this.
Uh, like the thing with I love that bit of culture they show with this where he's like resting in onsens, and I was like, dude, I was doing the same thing this dude was doing back 7 months ago. Like, this is just an awesome way of like back to bath. Like like they're thinking like Star Wars, like yeah, back to, and then it's an actual onsen hot spring. Like, this makes too much freaking sense, and it's like regenerating their health. It's so cool.
Right.
And the idea of the Twi'lek female character, I do not know her name. I know it was in subtitles. Should have memorized it because she's a really cool character that kind of reminds me of like Darth Talon or something, basically, because it's that dark sider Twi'lek. And when she gets modified and has the lightsaber leg to finish off the guy,
Right,
it's
man.
like, this is crazy. Like, this is mind-numbingly cool. And like the idea, like you were talking about with the Grand Master and how he's glitching, like he's personifying Grievous, basically. Like, he's basically a General Grievous. So you have Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith, and Return of the Jedi. Then the entire time, Milton, like the music is blowing my mind because you're having these nods to like the Return of the Jedi Battle of Endor theme and whatnot. That's like not exactly one to one, but you can hear it, and it sounds so similar. But then they also bring in like that original Japanese like samurai music vibe too. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I think I gotta give it a 10 out of 10, honestly, as
That's what
well.
I'm saying. Like,
There's nothing
I mean,
bad about it.
nothing.
It's just all peak stuff in every avenue, from animation to the voice cast to the writing that's intelligent to the scenery. What's happened? Everything's like a 10 out of 10 on this.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean I completely agree with you guys. Like, so I didn't even intervene in that back and forth there because I was agreeing with all your points. I mean, it's just that it was really smart that they opened this series with the Ronin, just because people love that character. They love the story from the first go around in the first season, and I just think just the studio behind this whole story did such a fantastic job with the story itself, the animation. I mean, just the visuals. I think that's one thing. Like, I know, Milton, you're always bringing up like visual stuff on some of these things, but like literally within the first 10 seconds of this episode, you're like, dang, they stepped up the visuals on this season already.
Big time. You can tell they really cared about what they did with the first one, and they expanded upon it. It's not even a question.
Yeah,
It's,
it was like so impressive. I loved the episode. I thought it was really good, just because like, you're getting to see, of course, get to see the Ronin in more action. And I was like reading more about the episode and different people's interpretations of it after the fact as well, while I was just laying around and doing nothing. And a lot of people, I was reading people saying like the whole like ending sequence, apparently, I mean, it makes sense with Star Wars. They took a lot of like inspiration from one of Kurosawa's films. Actually, like one of the way his films ended, I guess, like was real similar to this episode. So it was just like, that was like an interesting, like kind of little Easter egg homage to, one of the biggest influences of Star Wars. So I really appreciated that. And like I said, I thought it was an excellent way to open it. And, as you said, Chris, this was easily a 10 to start.
Easily. And I loved how, obviously the Ronin and that Twi'lek were enemies. And it was funny how she was hunting
Yep.
him down. I loved it.
Yeah.
That's actually interesting how she was hunting him down to say, "Oh, I know it's you. You're the one that's doing X, Y, and Z." And it didn't play. It got right into the action, which
Yeah.
that kind of surprised me. It went from
Yep.
literally they go to the bar, they find him, and boom, they're into the
So,
action. So yeah, it was very like, oh, okay, this is where we're at now.
well, I was going to ask this, guys. So, do you think, with all the like homages to Revenge of the Sith and all these things, so was the Ronin? Was he a fallen? Is he pretty much like a fallen Jedi?
Yeah.
Was okay. I was just making sure I interpreted that correctly.
Yeah, and I guess how I've always interpreted him too is a fallen Jedi, but I think he kind of reminds me of the first Doctor Strange. Who's that? Who's the sorcerer at the end who's stealing
Oh,
the
yeah,
powers? Mordo, whatever his name
yeah.
is. He kind of reminds me of him. He's like, there's too many sorcerers. That's the problem. And I feel like
Mm,
with the Ronin, he's like, there's not enough checks and balances. We need to be checked. Only I can do that, pretty much. Now I don't know if he's evil because they really don't specify him being good or evil.
Yeah.
I think he's a good guy. I think he has a lot of good intentions, but that's where I think I probably need to read the book to better understand him some more in his motivation. But I feel like he is an anti-hero who has a lot of internal struggle, and I hope maybe if they do a third one, they show some of that, so then they can
mm.
wrap it around full circle.
Well,
Because there's a
maybe
reason
he's
he has to be doing this.
well, maybe he's just the whole fan favorite concept, and maybe he's a gray Jedi kind of,
Yeah,
Oh.
like in that in
right.
between.
Yeah. Could be. Could be. What did you guys think about the whole sequence at the end? I mean, going from this battle that's with Ewoks, in the trenches on the other side of the bridge, whatnot, and doing all these kind of crazy traps. You got Wookiees running around. At one point, you have just this really cool lightsaber battle with the two of them fighting. What'd you think about that, Millen?
You mean like them fighting the Crusader or themselves?
Oh, the Crusaders. Crusaders. Yep.
Oh yeah, I mean that was look the Crusader. Seriously, the Crusader was the MVP of this episode, in my opinion. Especially when they showed his flashbacks and what happened to him and
Yep.
how he took off his face, and I guess it
Oh,
got sliced up. Which again, like the way they're showing how people get messed up in these animations is
yeah.
like, god damn, someone's losing arms, legs, his face is cut off or sliced. It's insane, and it's like
It
I
reminds me
love
of
that
old school like late night Cartoon Network anime, Milton.
too much. Yeah. Um, I was impressed. I love the battle. Again, I felt they weren't going to live. Like literally, I felt this guy was going to kill them because he was that powerful, that skilled. Obviously, it helped having the technology, but you knew he was. You can see that he probably advanced his skill
Mhm.
since being defeated by the Ronin before with the help of the technology. And the way he was handling both the Twi'lek character, the Ronin, even she had the arm with the multiple sabers, he was taking care of that like it was nothing.
Yeah.
I thought it was a beautiful fight. It was nice that they decided to work together, which again makes sense for the story. And then obviously, spoiler, as they take care of business, they reassume, hey, I need that crystal from you. I'm going to need to take that back. She's like, well, it's for decoration, but you can always try pretty much. And then boom, they start fighting again, which is cool though. It's
Yeah.
like, I love that.
I like how it
That's
ends like
great.
that.
How they had that levity,
Yep.
but he still had a job to do.
Yep.
Yeah. Any last words on this one, Ben?
No, I mean I thought it was fantastic. It just I don't know that episode. It was so good. Like I
Set
think
the
I mean
tone.
I've only seen the first three episodes, so I can't say I will say though so far through the first 2 seasons and 3 episodes of Visions I've watched so far, I think there are two clear and far and away front runners for like best concept, best whatever you would call these like stories and characters from Visions. And I think the Ronin is one, and then we'll get into the other one in the third episode. I think there are two clear cut
Yeah.
Mhm.
clear cut characters to focus stories on, and I think that's where the direction of Vision should go is toward the Ronin, and then toward what we'll get into in the third episode. But
Mhm.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Fantastic stuff. So, getting into the second one first, we have the episode titled here, The Song of Four Wings. I don't know why I just can't remember that one. And it's not that I didn't enjoy it. I really enjoyed this one quite a bit, so I guess I'll just lead off with it. I thought that this one was a pretty cool way of getting into what it is to be this princess on this planet, on this basically doing reconnaissance. So it's a lot of samey feels like, okay, this is like the Battle of Hoth, and then we have Leia out there scouting for the rebellion. Like, okay, we've kind of, this seems similar to what we know already. But it's basically, and I don't know, Milton. I don't know the names of these animated series, but like people don't ride in Gundams necessarily, do they, or something? Because that's what I was like quitting this episode in my mind. Like, what is this equal to in like anime? Because I know there's got to be something
Honestly,
like this out there.
it's funny. I was thinking about whenever she transformed. Was that an X-wing or something? She had
Yeah,
her whatever speeder,
Yep.
and it turned into like an Iron Man type mech suit. It kind of reminded me of Ben. You have to help me out with this. Was it Gungan Fighters or Gungan Warriors? What's the
Yeah,
animation?
go
You know
on.
exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it
So Gungan
was.
Warriors or something where they had like the mech suits
mm,
and they would do that type of thing. And that's what it reminded me of when she was in that speeder and transformed into that particular armor type thing. That was pretty cool. I love this episode. At first, I wasn't sure. It kind of started slow with me,
yeah,
but as it progressed, and I can see like what they were trying to do and how this character just grew in that 15, 20 minutes. I was impressed with it. This was a solid episode. I love the little, was it the little creature that she was with that was
yeah,
force sensitive apparently.
yeah,
Didn't think I would like that creature. And I'm like, oh my god, like I love this guy. It was very impressive.
yeah, yeah.
And
Yeah.
no, go ahead.
I see with this one. It did feel like I watched, all these in Japanese. I've watched them all twice now. And the second time, it really hit me. I was like, this feels just like the Mandalorian all over again. We have a person finds this cute little cuddly creature, turns out it's force sensitive and saves the day. It's like, where have I seen this before? Oh wait, the Mandalorian. So that's where like some of the visions in general at this point is getting to be similar very much to themes, and it's like, okay, we've seen this Rebel Empire thing, we've seen this Mandalorian thing, we've seen this version of this. So that's just my thoughts on the entire series so far. It's like, okay, I hope
Yep.
the next volume they do a High Republic story, they do something far in advance. There's an episode 9 of volume 3, I forget the name of that one. That one was crazy. We'll get into that one in a couple weeks. But other than that one, there wasn't anything that was like too mind-blowingly different than what they've already kind of talked about in the series already. But talking
Yeah.
specifically about this one with the Gundams and all. I mean, I thought it was pretty good with the anime connected to Star Wars because it really did like the girl with
Mhm.
the anime eyes, and it really like leaned hard into like the colors that were like really bright and vibrant, and like when the AT-ATs come out of the ground, it was just so very genuine anime. Like it reminded me even like of Mega
Yeah.
Man, even a little bit like that.
Right. So yes, so that's where I'm going with this. Like it's the
Yep.
Mobile Suit Gundam series. You know exactly what I'm talking
Oh,
about,
Yep.
Ben. Like that's what it reminded me of when she did all that, and I'm like, oh yeah. And I thought about the Mega Man character because
Yep.
that was very much the animation style that I was seeing
yeah,
too.
yeah,
Yep. Oh yeah, 100%. Like I think that's what so my kind of like 10 cents on this whole episode is just like I think to me, I kind of lead where you are on it, Chris. Okay, so I love the animation style. I loved like the ideas where they went with the episode, like the whole Gundam aspect to this, etc. I think all that was great. Like just because of this being an anime, like I know like Chris, you didn't like grow up on anime as much as like me and Milton did, but like for people like me and Milton, like we appreciate and like really enjoyed those sorts of like concepts being included in this sort of thing. So I really liked that part of that. But for me, I think, like you mentioned, to me, I like my episode analysis or like almost like grade on it. It's just kind of like before you even described it as like kind of a Mandalorian thing, I was gonna describe this episode. It's just like my example was honestly going to be just a solid, good episode of Mandalorian is essentially what it was. My example was like the Jawa Sandcrawler episode from
Yeah.
Mando, where
Yeah.
it's like it's fine, it's a good episode,
Yeah,
it's solid, but it's not mind blowing. And
no.
that's what this one is. It's
Yeah.
just a solid.
Exactly.
You if you play season 3 of this show and you watch it straight through with someone, you're not going to skip this episode. It's
Yeah.
fine. It's a good episode, but it's nothing like,
Yeah.
it's nothing groundbreaking.
Yeah. No,
I agree. That's a great analysis. Just because it did its job. Like, I mean, I think it
I
had
love the
to.
Gundam stuff though. I do love that.
Yeah, I was. It can't. Literally, we had the Duel episode 1. You're on a cloud 9. Like, how are you going to sit there and like top that? You can't. And I think this was a good episode to lead to set another tone. Okay, let's slow it down for a second. Got some adventures. Got some story. It has potential. It does its job, and then it leads into the ninth, Jedi story. Which again, that's something that everyone was looking forward to because of how good the first story was. I think this episode had to be placed the way it was. I liked how it was created. It didn't need to be over the top. It didn't need to be a 10 out of 10. You know?
Yeah.
I
No,
agree. I thought it was just another, just kind of solid 7.5,
oh,
7.58.
I was thinking 7. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, I would say a good solid 7.5 or 8, just because the beginning to me was slightly slow. But as you understand where they're taking it,
Oh, yeah.
how it came full circle, I'm like, okay, this is a good 7.5. It's an 8. Like, I would actually rewatch this again if I had to watch, series 3 again.
Oh, it's
Yep.
cool watching this in Japanese because I really like the voice actress. I think she's got that, just when I think of like anime, like the higher pitched kind of vocals and whatnot. So it's kind of cool, like hearing it out of somebody that looks like Princess Leia, sort of thing. So like I said, just go watch, put on Japanese. It's a great experience. Yeah, it's like a 7. It's good. I'm gonna watch it again, but we're all here. It's like, okay, it's not necessarily all that deep.
Yeah. Right.
Not deep like the next one, and the last one we'll talk about tonight will be we have the episode of the Ninth Jedi, Child of Hope. I'll throw it over to you, Ben. Initial thoughts on Child of Hope. This is the follow-up to Ninth Jedi, by the way, from Volume 1.
Yeah, I just think, to me, as I mentioned when we were talking about the Ronin, I think the Ronin and the Ninth Jedi series, they're far and away clear cut above everything else Visions has done. And this episode continues that, in my opinion. Like, I think the story was really good with I think her name was Kara, I believe.
Yep, Carl.
Or Kara, and then the droid was named, I think, Tedo.
Yeah.
Like, I really liked whoever the voice actor was for the American for the droid. The droid, I thought, did a really good job in that whole role, and I just loved like every part of this. Like the animation style, like to me, I know it's like so like obviously visual, not even talking about the story, but the animation style, like when you're watching the Ninth Jedi, to me, anyways, it brings me back, like me being such an anime fan, and I feel like Milton probably will get this a lot, and other like anime fans, like when you're watching like the Ninth Jedi, just the way they do the animation style for that arc of Visions, like it just feels like old school, like Toonami anime, like you'd see at like
Oh.
12:30 at night on a Saturday. It feels like classic anime from Cartoon Network, and I love that. Like it's just it's such a good, well produced series from the visual aspect alone, and then you layer in the story of Kara and Teto, and then of course the villains in this episode, and just everything that happens. Like I don't know, I just thought it was I thought it was excellent, and yeah, like that's kind of like my opening point about it. I just think overall, just the story, and then of course the visual aspect. It just like it's a home run.
Mm.
This is the only Visions episode I think to ever actually like really hit me in the feels. Like,
Yep.
my goodness, like, and then watching it in Japanese, it got me even more emotional in a way. I'm just like, the music's hitting me. It's like, oh man, that hit me more on the second viewing with the whole Tito thing. But yeah, exactly. Like, you could tell, Ben, like, just like you're saying, I agree with, like, it seems like they're putting a lot of their effort and time into this one, especially because it looks so good, especially that opening space battle where it's like the 3D rendered ships flying through space, but
Yep.
it's still, the 2D image of the characters and all. Like, that looks so sick. Like,
Well, it
oh
has
my
the future
goodness.
spin-off show coming.
Yes, it does.
So I
And
feel
for
like
good
that's
reason.
why. I feel like
Mm.
that's why probably they're putting so much effort into it.
Yeah, so you're like doing that, but then it's a long episode, but I like how it's very quiet, Milton. It's very
Yep.
slow because we're
Yep.
just finding out about the station and its droid and the backstory, and it's like one gut punch against another because then you go in and realize that the master he's been trying to serve has been dead. It's like, oh
Had
shoot,
forever. But yeah,
yeah.
which again, it's funny because this episode, I was actually walking back from my brother's gym when I was in Minnesota on like Saturday morning at like
Mhm.
8 o'clock in the morning, watching this on my phone while I'm walking like in downtown Minneapolis, Minnesota. Because that's how much I was like, whoa, this is really good. And I couldn't stop watching it. Like that what was it? Is it That Teto character?
Yeah,
Yeah, like this little ass droid had me like in my feel slightly. It's like
Yeah.
he was thinking, "Oh, can you help me with my master,
yeah,
and then I'll help you get back to your father or your friends or whatnot." And to come to find out, his master's been dead for like forever, and it's like, damn. And then all of a sudden, he's like, "Okay, you help me, now I'm going to help you." And it's like
yeah,
he just flipped like, and it showed that commitment.
yeah.
It showed his sorrow, but it's like, okay, he was all about like his word and what that girl went through. And I need to go back and rewatch the first episode of the Ninth Jedi, but it makes you really care about this character and how she was willing to do whatever she can to find her dad. And I was like, okay, this works. Like this is Star Wars. This felt like Star
Mm,
Wars.
yeah. What
Oh
about you,
yeah,
Ben?
I completely agree. For me, I think like we said, the Ronin's great. I think the way they've done the Ninth Jedi for the first run of it, as well as this second run, I just think the way they've done it, it feels the most quote unquote like Star Wars out of all of the episodes of the show, just because whatever studio is doing it, like they know how to hit the feels of like, the beats Star Wars fans are looking for, like touching beats about losing your master, like, we've seen with like Obi-Wan losing Qui-Gon or Luke losing Obi-Wan or whoever, or like, and that's the same like this droid losing his master and like, her losing Kara losing her father, etc. Or, not we don't know if he's dead, but like, not knowing where he is. Um, and like they know how to like touch on those beats, they know how to um like hit the beats right of like the characters where it's like, oh, like you said, Milton Teto's like keeping his word, even though he's going through a lot, he's keeping his word to help her out. And like I think they nailed that so well in this episode. It just, to me, that's why to me the Ninth Jedi is like a class of its own. I guess like um it's like the premiere, to use the Andor language Andor fans use a lot, the premiere Star Wars. To me, the Ninth Jedi is like the uh premiere version of Visions, in my opinion. Like it's a step
Mm,
above everything else.
Yeah, I agree.
I
And
agree.
you know what? And something I think about whenever especially because I watched all nine, so they're pretty solid in my head. But these first three, 2 out of 3, the characters were female lead character driven. You know,
Yep.
and there's a point behind why I'm saying this. because you know how the world has changed. Everything's like political, or there's a hidden agenda or whatnot. I did not think anything about gender, politics, agenda,
Nope.
like nothing when I watched these episodes. You know why? It was a solid story that had direction, that had a moral guidance about it. Great action, great story beats. It fit what it was trying to tell. It just told a good story that made you feel like you're a part of that world, and you're a human being going through with it or whatever. It's like there was nothing else about what they were trying to tell us except for their story and what it meant in that world in that moment. And that's why I think I gravitated towards just the animation of the series thus far, especially like these first three episodes. Just like they really want to get you emotionally invested, and they did its job, especially this last one, because we are hoping that this girl is able to find her dad.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I have a thought about that. I think I know what's going to happen when they do another one, but I'm just looking forward to the next evolution of this story because it's very interesting.
I'll I'll say this, just with how like heart punchy this studio is that's making this, I think, we're gonna get this upcoming season of the Ninth Jedi when they do their season of it. And I'm sure there's gonna be some tragic ending to her dad by the end of it, just because of like, anime tropes, Milton, like, how things go.
Mm.
Like, and I just think that's where it's probably gonna head. And like my thing with it as well, to kind of to bounce off your point about female leads, I think, like you mentioned, I didn't even honestly, until you brought that up, like I didn't even think about the concept of a female lead for
Right.
any of these episodes
Yeah.
because they were such good
Yeah.
stories. And
Such good stories.
we always have people like harping on that type of stuff on the internet, and
Right.
I'm like, that's one thing I think when it comes to like a good story will outshine any of that chatter, just because it's a good story at the end of the day. And like, that's one thing I feel like with with like anime over the years, you know anime, god, I mean, when you watch anime, you don't know if it's you don't I mean, you may have a male, a female, a robot, an alien, or whatever leading the series, and it doesn't matter because it's
Nice.
just a good story. And like that's what these anime studios get, is like people don't give a damn essentially when it comes to male, female, whatever lead. If it's a good story, that's what people gravitate to, because there's plenty of animes out there that they don't even have humans leading the series, much less male or female. So I think that's why like these studios are doing such a good job. I mean, overall, like, whether it be this episode or any of the seasons of Vision so far, like they just tell good solid stories because there's no weird political US influence, influencing anything. It's just storytelling.
Hmm. Very good point. Yeah. Yeah, it's not made in US, so they're not getting
Yep.
things
But
telling them to do this and
here's
Here, I want to put this out there, guys. I think
you probably thinking, was that going? You're going to say exactly what you're going to say. Go ahead and say it.
I want to put this out there. Like I want to throw this out there. Disney, please take this idea. I have an idea. I know this might be super sacrilegious. Instead of having all the folks at Lucasfilm do a next live action project, we should let one of these anime studios or foreign studios handle a live action Star Wars project and see what story they would tell. And I would be willing to bet you any amount of money. I know this is so sacrilegious. I would bet you any amount of money they would probably have better heart and better story than pretty much anything Disney has told us, including Andor, Mando, Ahsoka, whatever, because they're just good, solid storytellers over there, and they don't have any weird hidden political agendas or whatever. They're out there telling stories. And I honestly think they could give us potentially a better live action product than we're getting right now if we would have one of these studios handle it.
You
Dang.
just took the words. You took the words out of my. That's exactly what I was going to say. I
Dang.
mean, it's yeah. No, seriously, that's exactly what I was going to say. Because literally, I mean, and this is we're not trying to stir the pot. No BS here.
Yeah.
Literally, every time we've talked about this series, whether it's in this current review, past reviews, or when we're doing other episodes, we always talk positively about Star Wars Visions and the work that these studios are doing. Every story, and I've said this multiple times, we're getting 15 to 20 minutes of stories that are way better than some of the live action stuff we've gotten in the last 5 to 10 years from Disney and Lucasfilm. I'm just keeping it 100. And that's what's upsetting, is because they're clearly giving the green light to these studios to say, hey, do what you do. Do what you do. Tell it in your way. This is probably what we need to see. Blah, concept of the Force, Jedi, blah, blah, blah. I get that.
Yep.
But they have to be giving these people the freedom to tell these stories, and they're doing a hell of a job.
Yeah.
That's where it's upsetting. It's like Disney, Lucasfilm, Uncle Bob. I know you're watching, Uncle Bobby. Let these people do a live action, for Pete's sake. I mean, I'll just be curious. If you want to make money like Bob Iger's talking about, it's business and I'm growing the brand, I'm trying to protect the brand type shit. Like, let these studios take a shot at building your brand, because Star Wars isn't just American anymore. It's super international. You know, like you guys do your celebrations internationally, you do them domestically. You know, you're trying to pull in more viewers and eyes all the time. Dude, I'm telling you, let one of these studios get a shot at a live action. Oh my God, like I wouldn't be surprised if it's good. I wouldn't be shocked that the Star Wars community is like, we're all in unison now because it's a great movie. You know, they did this, this, and this, and this. I want to see the sequel.
Now, guys, I have something to throw out there on top of this idea. All right, so let's say one of these studios did do a live action. Just imagine, let's retcon a little Star Wars history for a second here. Imagine, okay, I guess, there are people out there who like the Acolyte. I will say that. I'll say that up front. But say what you want about the Acolyte. Imagine if you had one of these studios rework the Acolyte. Like, that show could have been fantastic with one of these storytellers giving a much tighter knit story than what, the clunkiness that we got in that show. And like just the aspects of that show being in the High Republic with so many Jedi and so many, all the Sith stuff going on with Chimere and Plagueis and Osha and everybody. Like, one of these studios, like this Ninth Jedi studio, like they could have probably made the Acolyte. Like, this is so crazy to think, and it just shows you the influence of like American filmmaking. I would be willing to bet, I know this is so crazy to think, with a really similar concept, similar story points, whatever, I'd be willing to bet the people that made the Ninth Jedi could have made the Acolyte like a 9 out of 10 type show, in my opinion, just because of the way they tell their stories, the way they emote their characters, all those things. Like, I just think one of these international studios deserves a chance at something live action. I really do.
Yeah, we have Jamie's Horden
in
in the chat saying, honestly, if Star Wars only became animated shows like Visions, Clone Wars, Bad Batch, etc., I'd be okay with that. That's a good point, because some of the best Star Wars we've seen, I agree, isn't animated. So for sure.
Yeah, I'll listen. And to Jameson, like I'll be the first one to say it. I have been a huge positive proponent on all the animations that Lucasfilm Disney has done for the most part. We've had some misses slightly, but I've always been consistent about how well they do with the animations, from Clone Wars to Vision, obviously. And I think it doesn't hurt to give it a shot to expand outside the box when it comes to the live action properties, especially with these studios who I'm sure they have people that have done that. Now, Lynn, let's not be naive here. You have to give them some guidance, some directions, and some restrictions slightly. They fit it in the mold of what it is for the live action world. But why not try it? And I feel like the one thing that all Star Wars fans can truly say over the last 10 to 15 years is that the animations have been the best thing thus far when it comes to the properties when they release them.
Well, Milton, you're on Instagram all the time. One of the most shared clips all over Instagram lately, it's always the clip of Darth Maul giving that speech from Clone Wars to Ahsoka, talking about how the Republic has fallen and stuff. And that's an epic moment from Clone Wars, and it's animated.
Yeah. I mean, I still watch, Clone Wars clips. I still watch Rebels clips once in a while. Hell, I still watch the Twins episode. Y'all know I love that Twins episode.
Yep.
Like, I wish they do a sequel to that, which I think they will in Volume 2. I'm throwing it out there right now.
Don't do
Disney
it.
Film Lucas, give me Clones or give me the Twins Part 2 in Volume 4. You know you want to do it.
We'll get Chris on the anime train eventually.
There's something about that one. It's just like so over the top. I'm like, it just
Love
turns
it,
me
dude.
off a
I'm
little bit.
telling. I know. You're not a Dragon Ball Z guy like that, or Yu-Gi-Oh type dude. But I'm saying, fire. Like, give me that episode Part 2 to the Twins, because that's another great story to tell.
Um, so what really stood out to me with the Ninth Jedi and this one, Child of Hope, is the lightsaber duels are so freaking good in these
Yeah.
Yeah.
because it's like they go like the Matrix shot, like where it's like a semicircular camera shot as she's fighting, and oh my gosh, those two bounty hunters, just like the idea of like the bounty hunters are going after the Jedi. Like this is such a cool idea. And one of the officers, and I played like 100 hours of Assassin's Creed Shadows, so I know what the weapon's called. But the big club looking thing, they're called a kanabo. And I was like, oh my gosh, they have like a magnified, a MagnaGuard like electricity version of a kanabo. That's
Do you think
insane.
this is post Order 66? If you would like kind of headcanon this, since the bounty hunters are going after her. I
Yeah,
mean,
maybe. Huh.
no, it's like you said, it is cool though seeing like the gear like that used from like Assassin's Creed type stuff. Hey, I have played one Assassin's Creed game, so I know a little bit about that franchise. But yeah, it is cool seeing like that type of gear used. And like you said, the whole just the cinematography of the episode, I think,
That's
was
right.
so good. Like you mentioned, just the way they did the lightsaber, the panning
Yeah.
around and stuff. I really like that too.
Yeah, what about you, Milton? What did you think about the physicality and the use of the force and all that in this?
Oh, it was fire. Like it was. First of all, I felt the episode had stakes. Like there's no way she was gonna win that fight. Like, when it comes to hand to hand combat, um, that particular person was too powerful, too advanced, and honestly, she didn't have any faith in herself. Like they did the flashbacks about like with her dad or whatnot, talking about you got to give yourself to it, keep trying, blah blah. Like that made sense. So you knew there's no way she could win this battle, but something was going to help her overcome. And it was nice that she had that support as the episode was going on to work through it. And then eventually at the end, it came full circle. She's like, okay, I'm going to find my dad, but I'm going to make a point to be the best Jedi I can. I'm going to be powerful. I'm going to be confident. But like I think that's what the purpose of that episode is, for her to go through that journey, to fight through her demons and fight through her doubt, and say, okay, I'm gonna keep my father alive, not only mentally and physically to search for him, but like spiritually. I'm going to do what he wants. I'm going to do what he taught me I needed to do, and that he believed in me. So I like what the physicality showed. I love the emotion of it. It made sense. It wasn't clunky. It didn't feel like it was out of place. It felt appropriate in how the story was progressing.
Hmm. The moment when he does like the sacrifice for
Yeah.
Cara Tito, and he puts her in an escape pod, and it's like he makes this like
Yeah.
really sentimental, poignant line or something of like my master did this to save me, and you saved me, so I'm doing this to save you,
Yep.
or something. It was something like that. I was like, oh my gosh, like I never thought a droid could be like so hard hitting with the feels, man. And then it's like a beautiful moment with the music, and then like the skate pod goes, and like the bright flash happens, and the music just like fades. It's just like such
Yeah.
a freaking beautiful moment. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm being overwhelmed
Yeah.
watching this thing. It's beautiful.
Like the episode, and that's the thing. It didn't end like it ended on a positive note with her surviving and getting away. But the episode felt like it was just there's more coming, and obviously we're getting the show, but
Yeah.
it wasn't a happy ending, honestly. Because
Oh,
he looked at that droid and hugged that droid and started crying, and I'm thinking
Yeah.
like,
yeah.
yeah, she's been through it. She's been through it. She's still looking for her dad, but she knows she has a lot more growth. She knows she needs to do more. and she's mourning the loss of her friend that she just met, who sacrificed his life to save her. It's
Yep.
like, what I mean, that's Star Wars, man. Like,
Well, Milton, just imagine that in our live action discussion. Imagine if this episode beat for beat was in live action, how touched Star Wars fans would be watching it.
yeah, I mean, literally,
Like,
this was an Empire Strikes Back ending. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm looking forward to the next series, or the series when they release whatever they do it. Like, I'm invested, and I'm like, oh yeah, there's stakes to this.
That's right. And that's how I always want from Star Wars. I want it to have stakes. I want it to really hit hard, right? So,
Yeah.
if you were to give a score out of 10 for this one, Milton, what would it be?
Um, I felt like this one's a good solid 9 out of 10. I mean, I think of the first three, this is the second best episode. The Duel, I still told you, was perfect. This is a good 9. I mean, I think the first couple minutes of me was a little slow, but I think that was on purpose. And that's the only reason I'm giving it a 9. It wasn't a perfect episode for that beginning, but other than that, though, like I was locked in about the droid, his master. What was that history about? Obviously, her being hunted. I had the back information from the first episode we watched with that, so it was a solid. It was a really good episode, and I'm looking forward to the follow up to this. So 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10. What about you, Ben?
Yeah, for me, it's a little bit higher. I would say for me, it's a 10 out of 10, just because I thought it was a really great follow up to the first episode of
Mhm.
the first Ninth Jedi episode. I mean, I thought it was a really good sequel to it, which a lot of times, sequels to things aren't as good, and that's why I gave the Ronin a 10, just because like I thought it was as good as the first episode of it. So I think this is the same type of thing. I think it was a excellent sequel. As Milton said, the droid Teto was great. Really liked the emotional moments between him and Kara, and I'm just looking forward to see where they lead off with it. And an interesting note to keep in mind, as whenever we approach the season of the Ninth Jedi when it does come out, we'll be able to essentially watch the first two episodes as like a pseudo prequel lead up
Hmm.
into the new season, straight
Oh,
away. So keep that in mind, because
cool.
that, in theory, that should pick up right where this episode leaves off, or like shortly after. So
Hmm.
you'll be able to watch the episodes back to back and then watch the season.
Oh, yeah, that sounds like a great idea to me. Oh, yeah, it's a tough one for me. I'm sitting at a 9 or a 10 right now. I'll go with a 9. I'll go with a 9. Um, yeah, the animation was great. Maybe not as good for me as like the traditional black and white of the duel, but the storytelling is just still top notch. I do like the duels themselves, as I was talking about earlier. So yeah, just the scale, just the originality, and the deep lore that it already is building in just two 20-minute segments really has me going, oh, this is going to be such a special series. So it's a good like preamble to the series, but it's also quite of a nice look inward at the character of Kara and see like what her past was like and the struggles she is having, and it really is going to play, it seems like, a pretty large part of her story overall with this new series coming up. So yeah, I will give this one a 9 out of 10. So yeah, there you go. You come back next week for the next episodes of Volume. Episodes number 4, 5, and 6 we'll talk about next week. But Ben, where can the people find you, and what will you be talking about this week?
Yeah, you can find me on X and Instagram at Real Ben Maynard, and I'm just always on there talking about the NFL or Star Wars or fitness, and that's pretty much it. So yeah.
There you go. What about you, Milton?
Yeah, you guys can find me on X at Milton Weber 7, or on Instagram at Milton 7 Weber. Same, talk about sports, talk about life, try to be funny, try to not take myself too seriously. But yeah, hit me up on social media. We can have a good chat about Star Wars or whatever that's fun and positive out there. We really do appreciate you guys watching and listening. So thank you.
Oh yes, oh yes, we very much appreciate it. Just love getting the people in the live chat. Remember, we go live on Sundays at 7 p.m. Eastern. You can join the likes of Jamie's son Horton, and they are chatting about just the animation is their preference over whatever. Maybe not preference, but we could live with just the animation. Also saying the essence of Star Wars storytelling is based on the theme of sacrifice. So yeah, that was from us talking a little bit earlier about that. But yeah, so you could join the conversation live, just like that live comment. And you could also listen to us on any audio streaming platform such as Spotify and Apple Music and whatnot. Yeah, so that is going to wrap things up for this week. We'll see you next time. This was Outer Rim Transmission 212 for Commander Cody and his company. Have a good night, and may the force be with you always. End transmission.